to introduce about the property, more detail about the property, accessibility, and then also the seasonality and for your the tip. Okay, so as you may know that Azumi Setoda is a property created together with Mr. Ezinzeka. We opened in 2021 March, so about 50% overseas guests is from at the moment, and the main target from America, Europe, and Australia. And we did receive the Michelin Key in 2024 and then 50th Best Discovery. Sorry. Can you see? Okay. So this is how where we are. So you can see that on the right-hand side is the Japan map. So this is Tokyo and Kyoto, and the red spot is actually in the Hiroshima Prefecture. We are in the Oromichi City in the Hiroshima Prefecture, but actually on the mainland, and so we are located on the island. So there is a 6 islands between Honshu and Shikoku Prefecture, and in the middle we are located. And so again, this is a highlight. Since there's a bridge, so there is easy access as well as a boat access. Okay, sorry. So later, I'm gonna send this the link of the presentation or the TLs. The team will send us the presentation. This is all the QR code, all the information of the area, including the Hiroshima airport. And so the distance wise at only 2.5 hours from Kyoto and to Azumi by Shinkansen and car, or 2 hours from Hiroshima City, which is you can enjoy the day excursion, and also 2.5 hours from Naoshima to Azumi, which I can show you this the detail later. This is a map of the town. This is a very, very small town. The island that we are located is only 8,000 people live. And so this is where we are. And this is a small port. And it's only the high street is only like less than 700 meters. It's very, very short. But you can see that small dot, that is all the restaurants and cafes and it used to be a lot of shops and open, but now it's sort of the closed. But after we opened that the property 2021, slowly that the town back to lively. This is seasonality. So I just put in everything in the temperature is at the Fahrenheit. So we do have the sort of the cold winter, but we don't get the snow around this area. So we, as you may know, the Japan has a very, very hot summer. So at the moment it's very, very hot in about the 35 degrees Celsius. It's about like average of like less than 90 Fahrenheit. But relatively our area is very less rain. So you can see this average rain day of the month. And so the highest month of it's June, which is tentatively the rainy season in Japan. But after that, and we don't get much of the rain. So you can see the high season is that Japan is really high. Season is in the time of cherry blossom. So we normally start welcoming all the guests in from the Easter holiday period after the mid of May, and then again in October to the full months of November. But that's just a tendency. But you can see from the temperature, it's actually we do have really mild in December and January. So if you have any guests and not necessary to the travel, the high season, which is difficult for the book the flights and at the hotels, I do recommend to avoid that area as well. But just in case that, and of course that the cherry blossom is very important in the highlight of the Japan. So this is the time of in Hiroshima, which is going to be the mid to late March until the early April. That's time as you can see the cherry blossom in Hiroshima area. Also the autumn leaves is normally the month of November. And our island is quite famous for the stressed lemons and orange. So you can see that that's starting from this November until the in May.
Yoshi, we just have a question here.
Sure.
How would you fit Azumi Setoda into the overall, Japan itinerary, pre and post? And how many days do you recommend as well
Uh,
staying in Setoda?
Thank you for the asking. Actually, we do have the special package and it's for the sort of off season. So I definitely show you this 3 nights in sample itinerary.
Oh, amazing. Thank you.
Perfect. So for the link and that's direct to our website, it have a lot of activities, so you can look at it later. And this region is quite famous for the cycling, but it is so many variety of the cycling things. So that this time I'm gonna skip that. So from the website, some of the activity made difficult to understand, so I'm gonna focus on this time. And that's gonna be art and activities, one thing. So some of you may already book that in the place called Naoshima, which is a beautiful art island. Is closely to us, not in the same island. But the problem is Naoshima is really difficult to make the reservation at the accommodation because at the moment only like very few hotels and you have to book in advance in like a year in advance. So we do receive a lots of questions from the travel agents. And so although it's best definitely to book at the site for the accommodation, but in case you cannot book and you still guest wanted to go, we can do the day trip. So this is a day trip. Oh, sorry, the cost part is just missing. I will add it later. But if you leave 7 o'clock in the morning from Azumi Setoda, you can arrive at Uno Port. It's going to be everything's by car. And then for Uno Port, you can take that in the ferry and then you're going to reach in just in 20 minutes. And then you can come back. You can take another return the ferry at 6:35, arriving Uno, and then back to Azumi. But the problem is here is it's going to be the private taxi you can uh, organize or there is a day trip by cruise. That's all the detail. Is very packed information. But from the port, which is located, it's about 3 minutes away from our property, and then you can directly travel to Naoshima Island, include the guide, and then a taxi inside that on that Naoshima Island. So that's going to be more comfortable, and then also that's going to be seamless trip. And then also, there is another art sport. It's more close to us. So that's I'm gonna introduce this time. It's called art-based Momoshima. One of the artists from the Naoshima project also include this one is Mr. Yanagi. And so he has a lot of his art collections in here. Um, as well as a few others as temporary, also the seasonally. So Momoshima is closer to us, and so we can squeeze in on the day of arrival. That is just sample itinerary. So if your guest is leaving from 9:46 in Kyoto Station, you're going to arrive into 11:26 in Onomichi City by Shinkansen. From there, you can take taxi and you can have lunch. And then from Onomichi, which is where you actually have a lunch, there is a port actually. So you can take about 30, 40 minutes of ferry ride, and then you can arrive in Momoshima by 2 o'clock, and the guide will meet you, and then about 2.5 hours of totally private tour. So the Momoshima, of course, is going to be more people, and also your very limited time of the schedule. But here is you fully can walk around privately, and then by 5 o'clock, we will arrange the private boat to pick up. So you're going to arrive into sorry, the time is wrong. It's the 5:30, about 30 minutes ride. You can arrive to this Azumi Setoda. And that is about cost also written on that slide. And so if the guests wanted to do the more relaxing trip, there's a beautiful spot. I can just show you it's a short version. Sorry, I just took this, the video. This is island, only 5 residents. And one of the guys, it's not us actually, they created a beautiful sauna spot. So you can have the private sauna, also the barbecue. Again, this only have 5 residents in this island. So you totally relaxed stay. Okay, so if the guest wanted this one, this is the sample itinerary. In the morning at Azumi, you can do the yoga to start with and the breakfast. Depart 11 o'clock and to the Setoda, and then by reach to Kosagi Island where this location is about 20 minutes, and enjoy the sauna, barbecue, and then you come back to the Azumi by 5 o'clock. And at the moment, we do have the stay 3 and pay 2 night package, and that's in for summer and the winter. So that's the date. Unfortunately, sort of avoiding that high season, but again, that I showed you earlier for the seasonality, some of the date is definitely mild and comfortable. So if any chance, please to use this package. And so I'm going to show you the 3 nights at the sample itinerary. So again, we do have lots of activities. From Onomichi, we can arrange the guide directly to start cycling as well. So that's another itinerary that I'm going to show you. So it's, for example, from Kyoto, 9:46, you can take the Shinkansen, again, arrive in Onomichi, and then you can meet the guide and then start the cycling. Instead go to Momoshima, and then by 3:30 you check in Azumi and then enjoy the day. And the next morning, just a little bit relaxing, and then town walk. That the map I showed you earlier, you can easily to spend the time in the half day, visiting the beautiful museum, Ikuchijima Museum or Kosanji, and the local lunch. And then right before the dinner, we can arrange a sunset cruise and then dinner at local restaurant. On the third day, we can arrange a hire the car to day trip to Hiroshima. So visiting the Miyajima or Hiroshima City, and then back to hotel by 5 or 6, and then have that beautiful bathhouse located next to us, and then again, they enjoy dinner. So that's sort of the sample itinerary I can show you. But again, there's a lot of activities, so we can switch in different activity during the guest. The last day, before the departure, if the guest is interested in do the Zen meditation and then breakfast, and then our checking out time is noon, 12 o'clock. If the guest, sorry, the travel agent want to book directly with us, this is the ID of the GDS, and then also the information of our reservation, and then the sales team for the further information. Okay, so that's it for the presentation.
Excellent, Yoshi. Just a few other questions regarding the booking window. How far out do you recommend booking? Just because we know Japan is very busy, top of mind. What do you recommend as far as how far out advisors should be looking at Azumi Setoda?
I mean, to be honest, our property is the high, although the high season, it is only like few months in a year. So we, until the last minute, we can take the booking. But the problem in Japan is the other car and driver and guide and other hotels. So usually the guests who come to Japan definitely want to spend the time in Tokyo and Kyoto. And then probably the guest is requesting nice restaurants and things like that. In that sense, for the high season, I do know the tendency of the booking window is about a year in advance but it's shorter to 3 months. But again, the countryside like us now increasing a lot of the destination. So you can definitely just the try until the last minute.
Okay. And then another question as well. What about family traveling? Do you recommend for families, and what age for the children do you recommend for Azumi Setoda?
Yes, we don't have any limitation for the age, so we do welcome all the type of family. We do have a small child as well for the Japan and also the overseas guest. The only the thing is that for the summertime there is close to the beach, so you can enjoy the beach and some few activities. But the boat activities only allowed to more than 6 years old. So it's any child is less than 6 might have the little bit limitation of the activity as well as the cycling. But I do see a lot of guests and actually have the mother put the child in behind and with the electric bike. So it's nothing is impossible. But again, this more little bit grown up adult or sorry, the grown up child is going to be more comfortable to do the all the activities.
Perfect. And Yoshi, can you talk a bit more about the history of the hotel and a bit more of the history or the family aspect of Azumi Setoda before when it was restored as a ryokan under
Of
this
course.
new vision?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I totally skipped that part because I did the last time to the tail presentation. So sorry about that. So the property that we did renovate is 150 years of the history. The brand itself is Azumi is created together with Mr. Adrian Zeka, who is a founder of Aman Resort. So myself been working for Aman for 13 years before joining this property. But it's a very beautiful setup. Compared with that he created Aman, it's not the big resort. So we don't have a swimming pool, we don't have a proper spa facility, but we are more open for the local people, local area. So guests do have access for the comfortable accommodation as well as the outside of the local experience. And then also our about 95% of our staff is a local Japanese staff. And so you definitely feel like authentic experience during a stay as well as in the town as well.
Excellent. And then we have another question as well from Melanie. Hi, Melanie. Thank you for joining us. I just saw her at a conference. So we would like to hear more about the room types. Can you kind of talk about the different room configuration, room types that Azumi Setoda has?
Yes, so the total room number is 22 rooms, and most of the rooms are 50 square meters. It's actually the back of my screen is one of the rooms. So it's not the humongous room we do have, but it's a very comfortable. We have a quite a wide area of the luggage area. So
Mhm.
it's definitely comfortable for two people using all the rooms, Japanese cypress and the pine wood. So you can smell of that and the beautiful smell of the wood as well as the style is very Japanese. Only four rooms we do have a maisonette, which about the 70 square meters. So, but the total of the area is a 70 square meters. So it's a 35 square meter for two floors. So the first floor, the ground floor has a small area of the bed and then the bathroom or bathtub. And then second floor, and then we have the tatami room, which has a small the table, but we can remove that. And for the nighttime, we can set up for the 30% and the foam mattress. So only four rooms we can accommodate the three people, but other than that, other rooms is only two. If you have any small child or family, we allow to them to sleep in the same room, but only the small sofa bed is available. So if any other the group number of five or four or five people traveling together, we normally assign that room next to each other.
And then two additional questions. We heard that cycling is very popular as well. How far are the paths, or how far is cycling from, steps from Azumi Setoda to find those cycling paths?
Yes, thank you. Actually, that first map that I can show you is that the link of the bridge is the actual cycleway. So
Oh,
from a minute away from our property is that the road started. But since we are located in the middle of the island, either you can go to the one side and coming back. But if the guests really want, you can do very long cycling, which is about 140 kilometers. It starts from Onomichi City, where it's about the 2 hours from Kyoto side, and meet the guide, you all the way and coming back you can do. But usually the guests only enjoy about 35 kilometers because during the trip you don't want to use all the energy. So again, a lot of activity at the cycling is available, and
mhm.
the QR code that I just showed you earlier has also the cycling map of the area as well.
Excellent. And then we'd love to hear a bit more about the food and beverage and the dining. Can you talk a little bit more about that and the
Sure.
kind of cuisine and how that works for reservations for the guest?
Thank you. We don't have a one dining because it's small property, and our breakfast is normally serving Japanese food, but of course we do understand that's a difficulty for eating. So we have the option for the light American breakfast, and like egg and like fruits, yogurt, things like that. And we don't serve a lunch at the property. We do have a dinner. Fortunately, we do have very good chef at the moment. He's Japanese, but worked in France for 13 years in Michelin stars restaurant. So the current cuisine is a French and it's course meal using only the local ingredients of 50 kilometers. So he actually grow their own vegetables and lots of herbs and things like that. But again, if the guests stay 3 nights, I do understand that it's difficult to eat the same, similar food or, maybe they get more already tired eating the set menu for over the trip. So we do have the option for the local restaurant, which has the local sushi restaurant to the local izakaya style. And then also our sister company has a beautiful Japanese restaurant. And so that's all the things that's available.
And if there are any dietary restrictions, would it be challenging to accommodate, or can it be accommodated? Just one of our advisors, Sequoia, is asking about any dietary restrictions for the kitchen and for the chef.
Yes, and to be honest, we are not super flexible, but and because of the Japanese food is definitely it's more popular in this area for the restaurant choices. So as because Japanese food contains dashi, which is not necessarily super friendly for the vegetarian. But it's any allergy, definitely we can any hotel, sorry, any restaurant can accommodate the allergy, like things that's not the problem. And the restriction in terms of the dairy is going to be a little bit challenging for us because our base is a French, but it is not nothing impossible, but the course is going to be a little bit short. But and other than that, for with our Azumi dining, the vegetarian is not the problem, and for the local, it's going to be the no meat or pescatarian. It's probably much more easier.
Excellent. Just double checking if there are any additional questions that the group has. Um, I think it sums up the questions on our side. Yoshi, was there anything else that you wanted to highlight with the group here? Anything else that we can mention? Um, as far as booking through a DMC, if the booking does come through a DMC, then they can always reach out to you and to Shinobu directly to let you know that clients are being booked through your preferred DMCs.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm already at the site, and so if I know where the guests, I'm normally welcome the guests in upon the arrival anyway, so we do know that and who they are. But also, our sales team is a lot of our reservation as well. I used to work with Aman, so this the quality and then expectation from the guests is we totally understand. Yes, and we do work very closely with the local DMC. Most of that and DMC that and working with the US, we do know. So yeah, any booking channel is not a problem at all.
Excellent. Well, I love that we had a little teaser to Azumi Setoda today on a Tuesday. Thank you so much, Yoshi, for hosting the presentation and sharing with us a bit more about this special gem in our collection. This webinar at TL University is recorded, so it will be archived. We will be sending it as a follow-up for all the advisors that are joining today. And thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time and learning a little bit more about TL and our special guest, Yoshi from Azumi Setoda.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.